welcome everybody to another edition of the Crushing Interview. Today with someone who is bringing a new flavor to the city of Atlanta, or can I say a new vibe to the city of Atlanta.
That's right.
Mrs. Colleen Craig, owner of the Atlanta Vibe professional volleyball team. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Super exciting. It's a big day for the Atlanta Vibe, and thanks for having me.
So let's talk about this. Why the Atlanta Vibe? The names just resonate so great. But when I was there on August 4th, I saw the Atlanta Vibe. Why that name? What made it just jump out to you?
So we did a name the team competition. So when we knew we were going to launch this, so we reached out to a database and we got over 1,000 names that were submitted from roughly 17 states. And then it's surprisingly difficult to come up with a team name. So we kind of narrowed them down, what was already used. And then when we got down to kind of a smaller list and we kept circulating and we made sure we had a good variety of folks. And when we started reflecting, what is Atlanta? What is the metro, greater Atlanta area? And it's diversity, it's culture, it's fashion, it's sports, and it's unique, and everything has its own little vibe. And then we were kind of like, all right, and sure enough, Vibe was one of the name suggestions, and it just made sense. Once we kind of locked onto that, we think it's representative of what we are as a city, where we've come. It's so the A is historic with the red, kind of ties back to Atlanta, with the Vibe being a little more cool and contemporary, with the V associated with, you look at our logo, associated with it. So we hope that the city embraces that, and that's something that resonates with them as well, and because everybody has their own vibe, and that's what's going to be fascinating about building this together.
That's awesome. The Professional Volleyball Federation is growing.
Yes.
How did they come to you and wanted to bring it? How did you get involved with bringing a professional volleyball team to Atlanta?
So I played volleyball. I was a dual sport in college. I was volleyball and track. So it's always been a little bit in my blood. I went on to the business arena for roughly 25 years. And when I've reflected back on what allowed me to grow businesses and be successful, it was sports. And so I took the opportunity to dig into volleyball and track, and is there an opportunity there? And what most people don't realize is volleyball is the #1 team sport for girls in the United States. I mean, we talked about it at the brand reveal, but it's not basketball and it's not soccer. I think those sports are fantastic. But if anybody who's listening has been out there, you have a friend that's played, you've played at a company picnic, you played in gym class, everyone can connect with it. So when I started looking into that, and I said, wow, why isn't this bigger? Why isn't there a professional league? So I've spent the last 10 years in the Atlanta market, running events, running camps, running clinics, and learning myself how to grow this, and what does this mean, and what could I offer back to the support that's given me so much. And then last year, the two individuals, Dave and Steven, who announced Pro Volleyball Federation, launched in November. I met them at a convention in December called the AVCA convention. And they told me about the model, which is a city-based franchise model, like the Braves, like football, NFL, and it made sense from a business standpoint. And I was like, here we go. This is it. Now's the opportunity to launch, because it's a platform that isn't out there for girls in the United States. So it's fascinating when you think about it being the #1 team sport in our country, yet you don't see it on television.
Right.
You don't have, dad's not out saying, hey, let's throw the baseball together. It's just, I call it, authentic. The girls are playing, and there's a whole world out there. So we're excited that we can now bring that professional level here. So that's how I got involved.
Let's go back to what you just said a few seconds ago. What does the game of volleyball, what has it meant for you?
So a lot, and I don't know if I fully embraced or understood what that meant until later in my career. But I've had the ability to grow multiple businesses over the course of my career. Went on to Harvard Business School and developed those companies. And being able to handle a boardroom setting, knowing how to take defeat, persevere through that, work through those interpersonal skills, I think a lot of those go back to sports and everything that we know. Most of the folks listening know the benefit of those. So when I was able to look back at my career, I think that was instrumental, and I think this is an opportunity for me to give back to the sport that's given me so much.
Take us through August 4th, 2023. You're revealing this new sport to the world, to the city of Atlanta, and all of that. Take us through that day for you as the owner. Were you nervous? What was going through your mind, and all of that good stuff?
Obviously nervous going into that. I think anybody who isn't nervous is beyond me. But so obviously nervous because I think there's a legacy that's being built here, and the implications are so significant for the city, for players, for what's to come next. The good news, though, is I have an amazing team was behind it. So, I walked into that room for the first time, and I hadn't seen it. They had worked on it behind the scenes and put that together. It was, standing room only, sold out crowd in that room. I think one of the key things that I took away from that day, so an individual was involved with us, Edwin Moses,
Yes.
many of you know. Edwin, two-time Olympic gold medalist, all-time, from track and field, one of the GOATs. He had said to me, of all the situations he's been in across the world, so, and this is somebody who's been in the Olympics, who's been international, sits on the International Sports Laureus Foundation, he said that was one of the best he's ever seen. And it was because of the Atlanta community.
Yeah.
It was all the players and clubs that showed up. It was the team who put everything together. I just happened to be the person up there on stage doing that, but that was just my role that day. So nervous going into it. It was a whirlwind. I still like seeing pictures because you see stuff. I don't know if you've ever been to that situation where you see something and you're like, oh yeah, okay, I kind of remember that.
Yeah.
So it was fantastic, and I was delighted and honored that many folks took time out of their day to join us.
One of the things that we're seeing is another professional sports for women. We talk about this being the #1 sport for young girls and women all around. How important was it for you to bring that another professional team, another avenue for young girls to be able to see that this sport can do this? I'm glad you bring it more from overseas, because we know it goes overseas, but to bring it here, how important was that for you?
Incredibly important, and a driving force. So in the United States right now, if you play high school, and if you're fortunate enough to go to college, and then if you wanted to continue your career, you have to go overseas. So right now in the United States, if someone says they played professionally, they most likely went over and played in Italy, or they went to Puerto Rico, or they went somewhere. So that's a very challenging task, and many know that how you're treated overseas is not necessarily optimal. That's not, some are great, some are not. So a lot just drop out of the sport. So you go from something where you spend hours a day and that's your sense of community and identity to not having that. So to be able to afford that opportunity here in the United States for, again, what's the largest girls sport, who's never had that to look to, role models, mentors, a sense of community beyond just that court and that next step. I didn't have that myself. So it was very much a driving force in what we're doing. Atlanta is a no-brainer in terms of a city. We're a sports town. We have passion, we have diversity, we have different cultural elements that I think we want to try to bring together. That's what the vibe really resonated, because this is about more than sport. It's kind of that intersection of those different elements that we're bringing together. So thanks for asking that question. It's extremely important.
Yeah, and I think we all can attest to that the importance of that. Being the spearhead of that, how does that make you feel, that you knowing you're doing something that for years from now could be looked back and saying that was the catalyst to another big thing for women's sport and sports in general?
I just think this is my part. I don't say I'm the catalyst. I might be the one sitting here, but this is just my role in this. This is, those players are the ones who are laying it out on the line. The people on the team are, in the business side, are the ones who are dedicating the community. So I'm just honored to be part of that group. And be able to play my part. So I think this is my role, and you can kind of rewind and go, okay, maybe this is why I've done the things that I've done to bring my network and connection. Everybody's going to bring their different things, and I think that's what is going to make this successful.
Let's talk about Colleen Craig for a second. Two-sport athlete at Cornell, if I'm not mistaken. And it just still blows my mind. You was a mid-striker for volleyball, right?
Middle.
Middle striker, I'm sorry. And a heptathlete. Just the mindset in those two things. Talk to us about your drive in playing two sports, going to Cornell, and being focused, and what that meant for you later in life.
Yeah, I don't think I knew any better at the time. So I think I don't know if sports was my outlet. It's what I could control in my world. So when I was at college and I was afforded the opportunity to play volleyball and then pursue track. That's what I knew, and I was very blessed that I had a supportive family. You know, my father was a girl dad all the way, and I didn't know that things were not achievable. So he was, you want to do it, go. And so that was always my mindset. So even business school, okay, you don't think I could do it? I'm going to prove you wrong. Were there a lot of setbacks on the way? Absolutely. This is not a straight line by any stretch to get there. So I think some of that's a mindset and where you go and how you pick yourself up against. If you're not failing, you're not pushing yourself hard enough. So we should all be failing, and then you learn from that, and then you pick yourself up to go to the next level.
And you went to the next level. You went to Harvard Business School, and you went there, did great. And then you become this great CEO and building businesses and things of that nature. Talking about failing and growing, what did that teach you? What was that like for you? Because, you know, it's a mindset to run successful businesses and things of that nature. Talk about the business world and how you attacked it.
Ooh, that's a tough question because there's a lot of facets to that. And again, I think I'm a growth mindset person. So everything that I looked at was how do we take the next step? Where do we go? How do I connect the dots? What value can I bring to the equation? And if I'm not bringing value there, and even I thought, how do I pivot to be successful for the organization at large? I think there's a level of putting your head down too. So an old boss said to me once, you know, you should commit to something for a few years, put your head down, decide, I'm going to do this, and whatever, it's 2 years, 3 years, put your head down, and don't worry about the noise, but give it your all. And anything you do, give it your all, give it 100%. And then you look up and you go, okay, what else is out there? What am I missing now? And you might go, hey, look at these other jobs, these opportunities, and ooh, they're not very good. I'm really happy over here. Or you might look up and go, wow, I'm really undervalued. Okay, now I'm gonna make a choice. And then you move. So a lot of people wallow in some of that. So there is a point of focus, and then there's a point of let me open my mind up. So I think that's a little bit of how I've approached things to set your goals. Things are only achievable if you set your goals. And I think the intentionality of Nebraska volleyball and what happened in Omaha, right? Setting a world record.
Wow.
So who would have thought before August when people said, okay, yeah, I'm going to rent a football stadium and I'm going to see if I could set an attendance record. And the goal at the beginning of that, from my understanding, is that it was just an attendance record for volleyball. That was the original goal. They did not know that they were going to sell it out. And then they went beyond that to set the world record above FIFA in soccer, and that's what you kind of hold out there. So I say that's about intentionality, and that's what what we want is there's an intentionality with what the league is doing, and when you set your mind to intentionality, again, this isn't going to happen overnight. We need everybody's support. This is a community asset and a community build. So we're very welcome and open to that and how we get there. And it's not going to happen overnight with that. So, and we understand that, and I'm in for the long haul. If I can do this till I'm no longer doing, I've been a happy person.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So one of the things about support is building a great support team, a great team. And it looks like from what we're seeing from your president, who we both know, Theresa, and your coaching staff, and Todd, I want to say his name right, DeGenis?
Todd Dagenet.
Dagenet, that was close. and getting that, what has that meant for you to be able to get this team out, to get a good, strong staff and things of that nature to get going in the right direction?
I mean, both of those individuals, we wouldn't be here. Again, that's what I say. This is all about the team. Todd was the winningest coach on UCF's campus. Yeah. He's sitting Division I. So again, rewind 8 months ago, and people are like, are you sure? Can you get a real coach? Is it going to be retired? Like, what are you looking at, right? And you can. There's always naysayers. You're full of naysayers. I like being around people who are like more like, how do we make it work? Not how is this going to fail, but how do we make it work? So, Todd's was a sitting 1D coach, winningest coach in the history. Took him from a losing record to winning the conference championship 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
You know, so he has been the one building the roster. My job is to just let him do his thing, right? And Brian Doyen is our assistant coach, who's been with Todd for 7 years, and he's come on board. So, you know, a lot of this is just allow people to be successful, give them the freedom, understand the tools, you know, put some framework around that. So he's been phenomenal, just like Theresa Wenzel. She's been instrumental. She's been building the team, bringing on Cheryl, bringing on Kelsey, bringing on these other individuals that are, we wouldn't be where we are. And her background is essential. She's an Atlanta individual, knows Georgia Tech space really well, the WNBA space. How many individuals have worked in a pro level like she has? That's experience I can't, I'm only can imagine. And then also in the Atlanta community. So again, I'm just setting the table for these individuals to do what they can do.
One of the great things about not only building support, finding a place to play. And you found Gas South Arena in Gwinnett, and the Gwinnett community, which is big for us, and from the Atlanta Gladiators to the Georgia Swarm. What does it mean to be able to go to and find that arena and that community in Gwinnett to be able to play your season?
So I learned at the brand reveal, it's not just Gwinnett. They're Gwinnetians.
Gwinnetians.
And anyone who's here listening who's a Gwinnetian will know what I'm talking about. So, again, I'm just going to say I'm incredibly blessed. I'm very fortunate and blessed. Didn't even fully appreciate, Gas South. I got to meet the folks at Gas South Arena and what they're doing in the Gas South district. I mean, the chamber, Gwinnett Chamber, is the #1 chamber in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, phenomenal. They have, I think it's just under 1 million people in Gwinnett alone, most diverse, one of the most diverse counties as well in the country. They have been extremely welcoming. There is not, we've had open arms from them, and we, again, want to give back. So we're in that process of trying to engage with community events, chat with those folks. So 'cause this is a two-way street in building the community. So we're very blessed with Gas South and what they're doing. They've continue to make improvements in their arena. They're open to some of our crazy ideas because we are continuing to push the bounds within sports, because this is also about entertainment. We want this to be fan-friendly. We want spectators to come. So, and those folks have been entertaining our crazy ideas and what we might be able to do in arena as well.
May I just give, your first signee was Leah Edmond, if I'm not mistaken. Signing Leah to the team, getting your first signee, what was that like for you?
So Leah is a phenomenal individual. All of our athletes are phenomenal individuals. I was very focused when we signed on to Pro Volleyball Federation and became one of the initial franchises on board, and we started building out our team. And again, Todd is, was the one who kind of spearheaded all of those. And we were talking about, who I wanted to have the first athlete to sign for Pro Volleyball Federation. Because I said, Leah, someday I want you to be on a Trivial Pursuit card where they say, who's the athlete? It's Leah Edmond. I wanted it to be her. And why Leah? She was a Kentucky player. Yeah. She has a phenomenal record. But even more than that, you'll get a chance hopefully to meet her in the future and chat with her yourself, and you can form your own opinion. But from my vantage point, she's intelligent and smart and articulate. She is, when it gets down to business, she's there to win volleyball and play hard volleyball, but off the court, how to build a team. And Atlanta represented diversity that she didn't see when she was in college ball. And Atlanta felt like home for her. So there was a natural connection for her to be here with us. And she's looking forward to being here and engaging with the community and embracing what all that means and what the Atlanta vibe, the greater Atlanta vibe is, so she can bring that on the court and show other girls what that might mean and what it might look like for them in the future. So we're delighted that she's part of our crew.
To look at this camera and tell people, season tickets are going on sale. They're on right now.
They are.
why you need to get these season tickets? What can people expect? Get people excited about the Atlanta vibe and getting online and getting these tickets right now.
Yes, season tickets are on sale. You know, please go online, buy. This is only successful. These athletes are only given a platform if it's supported by the community, and that we are going to create an exciting environment. Each game is going to have a theme. We want an experience inside of an experience inside of an experience. You don't need to know volleyball. If you're a volleyball junkie, great. Come courtside with us. You know, get right by the players, hear the interactions. If you're not, come to standing room only section, discounted tickets, and just be there to be social. If you want to be there and do some corporate events, that's great too. So it is going to be an exciting, this is history. Rewind to Atlanta United, right? A couple years ago, and you go, oh, there's an inaugural season. There's no more inaugural seasons. This is it. This is it. So why not? I don't say why go, why not? You know, take a chance on it. Come check us out. We'd really appreciate it.
There it is. Thank you so much, Colleen.
Thanks for having me.
Make sure y'all get these tickets. I'm going to be there, so y'all be there as well. All right, have a great day.